I've said all the things I want to say, RFM. We're at 9:34. I'd like to hear, you said you had 10 or 15 minutes of things you wanted to share, and I really do want to hear this.
Okay, so anyway, let me share this with you.
Yep.
Get this ready to go. Excuse me. I'm not going to put anything on the screen. Don't worry about that. Okay, so I am 13 years old. I'm in 8th grade in Kent Junior High School. I'm in English class. The teacher is Mrs. Cram, C-R-A-M. Not kidding. We've got our books, and our books are anthologies, as lots of books are in English class. And it's a big book. It's got stories, short stories. It's got poems. It's got all sorts of different kinds of writing in it. And it has one screenplay. I've never encountered a screenplay before. I like the title. I'm reading it. I remember sitting in that class in those golden days of 8th grade and reading this and being absolutely captivated by the story like nothing I had ever read before. And it occurred to me within an hour of going on the show tonight that this is what I need to share. Now, that screenplay was written by a man named Rod Serling. It was written for a TV show called The Twilight Zone. And the episode that I'm talking about is The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, perhaps the most famous episode from The Twilight Zone. As I looked it up, I find that coincidentally, it actually originally aired within a week of my birth. And here's the last part of the opening narration, which I will approximate to Rod Serling, though I will not imitate him. This is Maple Street on a late Saturday afternoon. Maple Street, in the last calm and reflective moment before the monsters came. Now, here's the plot summarized at Wikipedia. One late summer afternoon, Maple Street is full of children playing and adults talking, and doing yard work, when a shadow passes over, accompanied by a roar and a flash of light. Everyone notices, but they assume it is a passing meteor and resume their activities. The residents soon discover that their power has gone off, affecting stoves, and not only stoves, but strangely, lawnmowers, cars, phones, even portable radios. And they gather in the street to discuss the situation. Pete Van Horn volunteers to walk over to Floral Street to see if it is affected. His neighbors, Steve Brandt and Charlie Farnsworth, decide to go into town to investigate further. But Tommy, a neighborhood boy, urges them not to go. Tommy has read a story of an alien invasion causing similar issues and says that the monsters do not want anyone to leave the street. Tommy adds that in the story, the aliens are living as a family that appears to be human, but they are actually scouts. And the power outage they cause is to isolate the neighborhood. The adults, of course, are incredulous, assuring little Tommy that the cause is natural. Another resident, Les Goodman, tries unsuccessfully to start his car. However, after he walks away from the car starts by itself. This makes the neighbors suspect that Les may be an alien. As they all gather, one woman brings up Les's late night spent standing in the garden, looking at the sky, as if waiting or looking for something. Les, defending himself as a resident of Maple Street for 5 years, claims to suffer from insomnia and admonishes his neighbors that they should use caution and not panic. Steve, who ends up being sort of the main character in this, Steve tries to diffuse the situation and prevent it from becoming a witch hunt, but tensions remain high. As darkness descends, Charlie, begins keeping watch over Les Goodman's house. Steve suggests Charlie go home to bed. Another neighbor, Don, mentions that Steve has built his own radio set, which Charlie then claims no one has ever seen. As suspicion mounts, Steve's wife protests that it is a simple ham radio. But Steve sarcastically answers that, yeah, he talks to aliens with it. Steve and the other neighbors continue to argue, using each person's idiosyncrasies as evidence that they are an alien. Steve warns that such behavior, looking for a scapegoat, is the surest way for the entire neighborhood to eat each other up alive, quote unquote. Next, a shadowy figure approaches the residence. Remember, it's nighttime now, which Tommy, the kid, exclaims is the monster. Claiming it may be necessary for protection, Don obtains a double-barreled shotgun that Steve immediately confiscates. As the figure gets closer, Charlie panics, taking the shotgun and shooting the figure. Upon reaching the fallen figure, they realize it is Pete Van Horn, who had gone to see if Floral Street had power earlier, and he is now dead. As Charlie struggles to defend his hasty action, the lights in his house come on by themselves, causing the residents to turn on him. Don suspiciously asks Charlie why his power is restored, while Les rebukes him for being so quick to kill and accuse, suggesting that perhaps Pete had found proof of Charlie's extraterrestrial origins, and that the latter shot the former to silence him. Even Steve does not advocate. Remember, he's the protagonist. Even Steve does not advocate for Charlie, outraged by his senseless murder of Pete. Charlie makes a break for his house. Everyone chases him, throwing stones, one of which smashes a porch lantern, causing the broken glass to fly at Charlie's face and cutting his forehead. Terrified, Charlie attempts to deflect suspicion onto the kid, Tommy. While Tommy's mother is quick to defend him, several neighbors agree with this idea. Remember, Tommy was the only one who knew about the aliens' plans. Steve continues to try to defuse the situation, but no one listens. Lights begin flashing on and off in houses throughout the neighborhood. Lawnmowers and car engines start and stop for no reason. The mob becomes hysterical, hurling accusations, smashing windows, and taking up weapons as the situation devolves into an all-out riot. Meanwhile, at a nearby hilltop, two humanoid aliens are observing the riot on Maple Street while using a device to manipulate the neighborhood's power, their electrical power. They comment on how simply fiddling with routine leads people to descend into paranoia and panic that can be exploited. They also discuss their intention to use this strategy to conquer Earth, one neighborhood at a time. They then ascend a stairway into their spaceship, which then takes off. And I will close with the closing narration from Rod Serling. The tools of conquest do not necessarily come with bombs and explosions and fallout. There are weapons that are simply thoughts, attitudes, prejudices, to be found only in the minds of men. For the record, prejudices can kill, and suspicion can destroy, and a thoughtless, frightened search for a scapegoat has a fallout all of its own. For the children and the children yet unborn. And the pity of it is that these things cannot be confined to the Twilight Zone. That's all I have, Bill.